Good evening. It's 8:30 and it's Tuesday evening and it's the ManUtd agenda. You can set your watch by us, you know, always 8:30 every night of the week. And today I'm joined by Kehinde, my younger, more handsome brother, and I'm joined by the beautiful Kalula, who by popular demand is back. Let's go. Welcome to the ManUtd agenda. It's myself, Omundi Juma, and I'm joined by Kalula. You're back. You had your debut last week, Kalula, and you're back again. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling a bit more settled, but I didn't expect this subject matter. I don't think anyone expected this, so it's good to talk about. It's good for us to talk about it, but I'm a bit gutted at the same time that we're having to talk about it.
You know what? We would be struggling, Luna. We would be struggling for subject matter if it wasn't for this. So thank you, Ronaldo, for giving us something to waffle about. And we will be going in today. Big up to my younger but more handsome and bigger brother than me, that's Kehinde. We went to school together, didn't we? Well, not together, but we went to the same school. And it turns out it's a small world, isn't it? Because I'm not going to mention, but yeah, it's a small world because our school is famous. Peter Crouch went to our school as well. And a few others.
As well as the director of 12 Years a Slave. So, yeah, just throw it out there. Big up Drayton Manor.
Drayton Manor crew, if you're out there, big up, yeah? But you know that we are the most famous ones out of the Drayton Manor on the ManUtd agenda. But, yeah, what a great school that was. Just a quick reminder, we had a great football team, won the Middlesex Cup, of course. I was part of that. And also, Ted Dale was the coach for us, and he was also coach of Chelsea Youth as well. So we were really blessed like that, you know. And big up to Paul Yates, Barry Miller, Wayne Richards, Beefy, all these good players went on to be better players in the future. So yeah, big up to Drayton Manor High School. We run things, you know, from Handwell. Sorry, Kalula. All right, guys, that's the intro over. I just want to big up some people in the comments. Start with Mr. B. You know, the one and only Mr. B. He's saying big up to everyone in the comments. Most importantly, press the like. Yep, could do that, please. Stuart Marshall. Stuart, you are hungry for ManUtd and you're hungry for ManUtd agenda. We appreciate all the work you're doing. Big up, Stuart Marshall. Uncle Phil is in the house. Yes, that's Bill Badger saying, Uncle Phil, my big brother, Uncle Phil, below me. Evening, lads, Bill Badger. And Lady, yes. And HD Gamers here as well, saying, who's ready for more Ronaldo Glazer bashing tonight? And Christine Howley, how you doing, Christine Howley? She's saying good evening to all. Big up Christine Howley, very, very close personal friend to me. Yeah, we are close. So big up everyone watching. Let's go into this because Kalula, obviously, like we're saying, a lot of things changed. And my brother as well, a lot of things changed last week. Just summarize quickly. I mean, because we're going to go into it in a minute, but just summarize. Are you looking forward to watching the documentary, Kalula? Not the documentary, the interview.
The interview. To be honest, when there's Piers Morgan, you know it's going to be controversial. They picked the most controversial person. So part of me wants to watch it because I think it's going to be raw, but I'm very dubious on the intention of what direction they're going to go into. Of course, we've seen quotes from the interview, but is it that we are seeing the bad side and there's going to be a bit more good? Or I want to see all the information. That's where I'm standing at the moment, because I feel like this is something that we know there's been issues at the club, but I do feel like this is quite out of the blue, especially when you're celebrating us beating Fulham, and then all of a sudden this just drops out of nowhere.
It's a big like soap, and it is a soap opera, dropping out of nowhere. You know, pick up the soap for me, bro, and let us know what you think about it.
Now, listen, I'm not really looking forward to this interview. I don't see anything positive that's going to really come out of it. And I don't get excited about things like this. It's drama. It's unnecessary. What's the point, really? He's going to leave. He's not part of our future. He's 37. you know, there's no point in talking about it after this. It's just, yeah, it's just pointless, really. I just find the whole thing unnecessary. If he wants to leave, let him leave. But I don't know why.
But will you be tuning in to Piers Morgan? Because they plugged it really well. Give me a little snippet.
I don't even know what day is it on. I don't even know. That's
you don't know. Okay.
I've looked at some highlights a minute here and there, but I to be really honest, I really don't care too much. You know, because I just think we got to, United fans, look at our future. Look at our future. Your young players like Garnacho, Anthony, players there that are going to be there for the next 10 years. The Ronaldo saga over, man.
Yeah,
we took him back. We took him back. It's like taking back an ex-girlfriend. It was never going to end well.
Yeah, that's true. Have you done that before, bro?
No, I'm wise.
All right. Anyway, I want to say hi to Harry David. He said every time I see Gary Neville, he's not my friend. My brain fills in with, and he's not my fellow DJ. Also, Big G's in the house. Gavin, he's saying yes, he's back. My favorite dude. He's talking about you, bro. How you doing, Uncle Phil? Missed you, lad. And Pat Lawless is saying respect to Kahinde. See, Pat Lawless is showing respect because he's giving you a real name. And he's saying the Woodlands Warrior and Kalula on a second show as well. Woodlands, by the way, myself and my brother are part of the team. West Philadelphia, born and raised in the playground. Let's not get into that rap. It's infectious. And Emma's here as well. She's saying it's going in the direction Ronaldo wants. He asked for the interview. He will probably have decided over the questions as well. Like there's going to be no questions about him leaving the ground twice early. There you go. So we're going to go into it now. Before we do you want to say a big up to our sponsor, GMS, that's Global Mapping Surveys. We're now sponsored by them. They assist architects, property developers, and construction companies all over the country. They offer a wide range of services such as setting out topographical surveys, 3D laser scanning, and monitoring. The link is in the description, guys. Let's get into this. Now, just one thing. I know you guys haven't spoken on the show much about it. For the last few days, I've bored myself about going on and on and on about the same thing. So we're going to take a different angle today. We're just going to look at a few things first. We're going to touch on this without his terminating his contract, because it's obviously a legal matter. You're breaching the contract by speaking out about your club, about your manager, about your employees, and that kind of thing. So here, I'm just going to read this out, and then we're going to discuss this quickly. ManUtd entitled to terminate Cristiano Ronaldo's contract, employment lawyer claim. So an employment lawyer has got involved to give us some advice here about this situation. Cristiano Ronaldo could be sacked by Manchester United after criticising the club and manager Ten Hag in his interview with Piers Morgan, according to his legal employer's lawyer. Mike Tremere, I think his name is, employment partner at Fladgate, I believe, said it seems clear that many of Ronaldo's comments made during the interview amounts to him knowingly or recklessly saying something which is likely to bring the club into disrepute, or cause damage to the club or its officers or employees. That breaches, so that's the victim there, will be causing damage to the club and the people he's talking about, officers and employees. That breaches an express clause of the Temple Plate Premier League player contract and means that the club is entitled now to terminate his contract. If it is apparent that Ronaldo wants to leave Man United, and so this must be exact the outcome he must be hoping to achieve by coming to his interview. So as Emma was saying earlier, I'm going to leave this up to a few seconds. He's made the interviews. He's made some clear points, which clearly breaches his contract and which entitled Manchester United now, who are seeking legal action, to sort of terminate his contract as well. So over to you, Kalula. After reading this about the legal side of things, how do you feel about it now? Do you think it's intentional by Ronaldo and quite calculated?
I think it's complete perfect timing. This Premier League's ended. They're also going to do the World Cup at the moment. So he's done it at a time where this is absolutely perfect. He's got the most controversial person to do his interview, which, years ago he did an interview with him before. So they obviously have a developed relationship. And for me, I'm going to be brutally honest. If he wanted to leave, why didn't we let him go in the summer? Why have we held on to him if obviously he's demonstrated he's unhappy? We've known he's unhappy. I do feel like some people are not concentrating on the fact that maybe the club should have just did this behind the scenes. It shouldn't have to go this far. If someone's that unhappy, like I don't get me wrong, I love my team so much, but if he was really this unhappy, they should have dealt with this in house. This shouldn't have been something that has gone this far.
Agreed. So basically, he's kind of forced United's hand here. They have to react. Kehinde, what do you think about this? Now we're seeing the legal side of things, that maybe Man United have been sort of can push that button now, and legally and publicly, without any sort of backlash, get rid of Ronaldo based on the key words that he said, where he's breaching his contract, where he's making the club victims, putting the club into disrepute. I'm struggling to say that word, but putting the club down in public, which is something legally you can't really do, and you can get sued for that kind of thing. What are your thoughts on it now when you're hearing about this?
Yeah, I mean, Ronaldo obviously had the agenda, didn't he, in doing this? I've been hearing things like that he asked Piers for the interview. He contacted Piers to have the interview. So, and yeah, so he obviously knows what he's doing. He's trying to force his way out of the club. Maybe we should have tried to get rid of him in the summer, but I just think maybe the board didn't want to do that because they worked so hard to get him, and to get him from Man City before Man City got him, and because he's like a global franchise and the new manager's coming in, they didn't want to take away maybe the shine from the new manager, or that Ronaldo's just going to leave straight away. I don't think they wanted like that sort of huge news when the new manager's coming in, because it would be seen as a bit of a negative. But this was always going to happen, I think. So it's a shame, and United are going to have to force their hand and take legal action, because we can't have players like disrespecting the club like that. And the manager, it's just not going to work, is it?
Most certainly. Where are you at though, Kalula? Because you've been watching the whole season, and you can make a good assessment now. We've got 14 games in season, but where are you at with him? Is it going to be a huge loss if we do lose Ronaldo on the playing side of things?
One of the things I will say is that this has to be done correctly, because he is an icon. There's going to be younger players in the team. There's going to be people that are going to be really torn with him going. We can't forget how many goals he scored last season. We can't act like Man United has been the Man United that we remember when we were younger. We can't, some of the things that he said, I do want people to take away that are valid. We are meant to be a top team. If the facilities aren't right, he's got every right to complain. If things aren't going well, everyone wants the Glazers out anyway. Part of me feels like he might be doing us a service by doing this interview to kind of open it to the world that Man United isn't in the right place, and to put it in the public, they have to change. I'm not saying it's the right way, but we've needed something to change for a few years now. The only thing for me is disrespecting Tag. I was so gutted he did that, because some of the other points I think were really valid.
I want to say hi. Big up to Glenn James. He's saying big up, guys. Just get a feel from the comments. HG Game is saying wish it was 90-minute Glazer bashing. I think he did mention the Glazers. I'm seeing something today. Bill Badger saying I wouldn't terminate his contract. I would sell him if that's viable. Big G saying honestly think there's a bigger agenda here as to the reasons why he's done that. I think Kalula was sort of touching on that just a minute ago. Emma's saying nobody wanted to hit him in the summer, which is true. Otherwise, I think he would have gone. Bill Badger is saying has this made United's share prices drop? I don't know, but that's a key thing, isn't it, when it comes to that? Sue. We always say Sue is in the Ronaldo celebration. We won't be doing that anymore, Sue. But big up, Sue. How you doing? She's saying he has not done himself any favors. Club, yeah, too big. Big up, guys. Madness, she's saying here. A couple more. The HG Game is saying Mbappe rumours because Ronaldo said Glazers was bad for United. We're not blind Glazers. Maybe it's just a ploy there to sort of keep us on side. Rory C saying, I think the best we can hope for is a mutual termination of sacking. If we pay him off, it's more incompetence from the board. Rebel is saying the Mbappe rumours is nothing but hyperbole. And a couple more here. Glenn is saying, to be honest, we need to watch the interview, it's true, and then say our goodbye to Ronaldo. He definitely knew what he was doing with the World Cup break and wanted to leave. It's an ideal opportunity. And finally, TalkMU is saying, I get the feeling Ronaldo is going to make it appear that the club and Ten Hag are responsible for his drop in performance because it makes it easier for other clubs to overlook this. That's a good point as well.
Fragile ego.
Fragile. Okay, you want to add to that then? Because fragile ego will go into the press.
Is he just coming out with this because Ten Hag is not playing him? He's not first teamer no more. because, like I said, he's a global brand, and if he's not starting and he's just seen as like, you know, a player that's finished and players are starting ahead of him, it doesn't look good for his brand. So he might want to deflect that by saying, oh, well, you know, there's problems at the club and things like that. Would he still be saying all this stuff if he was still playing every game and scoring goals just like he did last season?
I wanted to pick up on Solo 7 there that said that he's saying it how it is, because I do think it's a big mess at the club. I do think that, yes, there is ego there. There is going to be ego, but there is issues at the same time. I do think a lot of the things that he's going to say is going to be, they are going to be real. You know, one of the things that caught me hard was when he said the facilities and the tech haven't changed since Fergie. That's absolutely ridiculous for the amount of money that's at our club. That for me is just so silly that we haven't developed the facilities for the players. The other thing is that we have to be careful, because I do think I do think it's kind of for me, I don't want to disrespect the fact of, if we were playing better, I would kind of go, okay, yeah, you know what, it's good. This is something like, get rid of him. It's completely fine. But I think everyone is forgetting how much he did give the team when he first got here. Like, I keep saying it, how many goals did he score for us when he was the only one putting it in the back of the net? That's the key thing. We've got to score goals. He did help. Yeah, he's 37 years old, but he did help us when he first got here.
Do you remember in wait, hold on. Do you remember in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Uncle Phil would kick people out the house? You see Jazzy getting kicked out the house. You with your Ronaldo shirt there, Kalula, could be getting kicked out the house by our very own Uncle Phil for those comments.
No, but I'm sorry to say, but if you're going to turn around and say that we're mystifying, I do think that he needs to go. He could have made or broken us, but I do think that some of the points he's put across are correct. We should be better. We should.
Okay, well, listen. I haven't been to Old Trafford or inside. I haven't seen the facilities. I don't know if they're good or not. I would expect them to be at a good standard for a club like Manchester United, but going back to last season, yeah, he did score 24 goals or whatever, but we finished 7th or something. So was it really good for the whole team? You know, he had a guy that was just Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who was just backing him, would be too afraid to drop him. And
are you gonna blame him for that? Are you gonna blame? You can't blame him for, he did the goals.
No, but I'm just saying
you can't blame Ronaldo for that. That's down to team management.
I feel that there's a big turnaround now that Ten Hag's in charge. I think as a team, as a collective, this is the best that I've seen us play for a long while, and you can see that there's a strategy to get us back to where we were. And Ronaldo's not part of that plan, because we need to look towards the future. You know, last season, yeah, he did score some good goals or whatever, but the team didn't perform well. It's all about the team. It's not about him as an individual.
Of course, it's not the Cristiano Ronaldo team. It is Manchester United. But when you look at the situation, it's how much blame does he actually have, when really we could have let him go.
Kalula, I want to jump in here. I'm going to jump in, right? We spoke about his performance on the pitch. This year he hasn't been performing on the pitch. I don't know. We can go into more detail tactically, what's going on, why that's not happening. But he's not scoring as many goals as he was last year, and his strike rate is really low as well. I think Tommy's got more goals than him at the moment. You know, that sort of thing. But I'm looking at from June, July, when issues started to arise. There's many issues going in the press, which we discussed over the last couple of days here. There was the issue about him not going on pre-season tour, regardless of the reasons why. But he's going to, respond to that. He's got his response to that. There's an issue going before the transfer window was going that shut in. He wanted to leave there and then, and put us in a bad position because we needed him. Yeah, then he was saying he's on board, he's not on board. Then there was issues in the pre-season friendly against Real Valladolid, I think, or Vallecano. He was sort of openly, being destructive with his body language towards the manager and players as well. Then on top of that, he started saying, I will release something. I will reveal all. This is in August. I will reveal all in the next coming weeks. Nothing was said. Then he seemed to settle down, get a couple of games here and there, still wasn't performing. And then obviously the Tottenham game when he walked off, which was really You know, he got fined for, rightly so, and he didn't play against Chelsea. You don't do that. And then there was just prior to that as well, he said, support the manager. I'm on board with the manager. And let's just to add, when Carragher dissed him, he went on Sky Sports, whatever, shook hands with Gary Neville, shook hands with Keane, and snubbed Carragher. And then weeks later, now he's snubbing Neville and saying they're not being friends. But we're going to move on to that. But before we do, just keep that in mind, guys. There's so many comments coming in. 21 in the comments right now. Make sure you press the like button, guys. Obviously, Emma's saying we didn't want him in the summer. Obviously, we need to watch the interview. That's a great point by Glenn. So we're just coming down here. A couple more comments, which will just give us a feel here. Want to say hi to ATTV, which is another day in a soap opera of Man United. Thank you very much. And thanks for joining us, man. Joining our soap opera. Emma here is saying everything he says about the Glazers loses credibility when he calls Rooney ugly and says Ten Hag is disrespectful, basically not kissing his backside. He sounds petty and like an idiot. This is from Emma. So he said something about Rooney, about his looks. What's that got to do with anything? Keep that in mind, guys. Couple of grenades on your way. Ronaldo like the Joker, says ATTV. Bill Badger is saying if Ronnie bangs 6 goals or more in the World Cup, we will definitely sell him. Here we go, some details. We did ask the question. Rory saying 13.94 share price Sunday, 12.98 today in USD. So not a huge drop in share price, but more generally down from $26 in 2018. Our very own Solo's responding, saying, I won't discredit Ronaldo as yet. We have to wait to see the full interview. I believe he was promised a lot of things, and the Glazers would lie to him. ATTF TV saying, Ronaldo walking out of the club to the tune of hitting him up by 2-back. And that's what we did against Spurs. James is saying, how many Ronaldo shirts will end up in charity shops over the Christmas? I'm sure Kaluna will buy them. She likes that merchandise, judging by her hoodie. Big G saying, I love the conspiracy me, but I do think there's a bigger picture happening that we're not being told about. But to answer your question, yes, he talked to Bill in the comments. King's Football, who was on Friday night with Mr. B, said, I think United need to move on for Ronaldo. The modern day football teams need a centre forward that press, open up spaces, link and hold up play. And it's not about individual scoring, as we were saying earlier about the loss of him. Here we go. Solo, you got a friend in Solo, Kalula. She's saying Kalula's spot on as far as we very forget for what he did last season to us. Yeah, but that's last season, guys. We did have that discussion. Let's move on quickly. This is about... No, forget that. Let's talk about this. Yeah. Cristiano Ronaldo and Laura Woods. Now, Laura Woods is a presenter on the Talk Sport. Regardless of where she's from, she has her views, and this is what she wants to say, you know. But she's saying here, Laura Woods has jumped to the defense of Gary Neville after he was blasted by Man United star Cristiano Ronaldo in an interview speaking to Piers Morgan on TV. Ronaldo criticised his former teammate and now TV pundit while also throwing shade towards Wayne Rooney. Quote, it's hard to listen to that kind of criticism and negativity from people who play with you. For example, Gary Neville as well, he said, people can have their own opinion, but they don't really know what's going on. For example, inside the training ground and Carrington, or even my life. They have listened to my point of view as well, because it's easy to criticize. But if you don't know the whole story, it's easy. They are not my friends. This is what he said, speaking on Talk Sport. They're not my friends. On Gary Neville, he was hugging Gary Neville the other day. On Gary Neville specifically, he says his job is to critique, but Ronaldo is making himself the number one story by refusing to come off the bench or leaving the game early. So this is what Gary Neville was saying. People aren't going to ignore that, especially Gary Neville, who is a Man United legend. People are looking to him for his opinion on it, and of course, it does not look favorably on that. This is what Laura Woods is saying, sorry. It doesn't matter if you are Ronaldo, anyone else, or even one of the new boys coming in. But if you're getting paid by the club, you can't act like that. So that's from Laura Woods, neutral maybe, or not. I don't know what you think about that. But let's talk about this first. He's dissed Wayne Rooney, obviously throwing shade towards him. And then he's dissing Gary Neville. And he said they're not my friends. Kalula, discuss.
One of the things I will say is that I do think in the interview they are going to be valid points. And I do think that some of the other comments he's made are quite immature. I don't really know why I don't know if it is to be controversial, because it does seem quite peculiar that, as I say, it's timed really well. It's with one of the most controversial presenters. He's saying controversial things. Obviously, what he said about Wayne Rooney just is, for me, childish. And it's not really applicable to his situation. One thing I will say that might be controversial, I do think sometimes that commentators do go a bit far themselves. So, I'm not going to turn around and say that a commentator hasn't gone too far. Like Gary Neville has said stuff himself. I know that at 1 minute they're friends, 1 minute they're not. If he doesn't want to be his friend, he doesn't have to be his friend just because they played at ManUtd beforehand. He doesn't have to like him. If he doesn't like him, he doesn't like him, and he can tell the truth. But there's a difference between being professional and not being professional. And I think that's what it comes down to with Ronaldo. He might have his issues, but he was very unprofessional. I don't mind him saying he doesn't like anyone. I don't mind if he's got critiques. I don't mind if he's unhappy. He's got every valid point to feel that way. But the way he's gone about it, as I say, it's just completely unprofessional.
Kahinde, do you want to add to that? I mean, look, the things being said here by Laura Woods is saying that he was unprofessional. He shouldn't be talking about Rooney, sniding Rooney. And Gary Neville's a pundit. He has to sort of speak his mind on football, mates or no mates.
Yeah, I agree. I think that he's going to have some valid points, like maybe regarding Rooney and Neville. That's his opinion. If they want to throw shade at him, he could throw some shade back at them, and with some good valid points. It's just I'm more concerned about what he said about the manager, because I think the manager's putting us in the right direction. He's just come in, and that's what I'm concerned about. Neville and Rooney, they're former players. Nothing to do with United anymore. But the current manager, I'm not putting.
Yeah, but my thing is this: if you're going to have that respect and people are going to respect your reputation from what you're saying, why are you pointing fingers and being childish at one point by saying, Wayne Rooney is not as good looking as me, and Gary Neville is, I'm going to diss him in front of everybody, like I diss Carragher, I'm going to diss him on TV like that. How do you regain respect for someone who's going to be saying one thing childish, being child mode there, and then suddenly wants to be in parent mode and adult mode in other things, and we have to take him seriously? Doesn't make sense to me.
All I heard that he said about Rooney is that he's jealous that he's not playing at, because they're the same age, he's not playing at this level anymore. That's all I heard.
In tongue and cheek, do you know that what he said, Kalula? He said in tongue and cheek, really said I'm still playing. And I look good, and
I look good. Yeah, he did throw the shade, and I think
it's true. He's better than Rooney.
Well, to be fair, but if he actually in the interview, apparently he said that he loves the fans, he loves the club. Now, for me, I want to ask that. Like, you can see this. Either way, I'm keeping this hoodie because it's one of the best discount hoodies I got off the ManUtd website, and it's warm. So, but what I will say, no matter what, if you do love the club, do it the right way. And that's like, there was no need to, as you said, they're former players. Why is he even bringing them in? How have they even, that's just silliness. This is child behavior. He's 37 years old. Yeah. If you want to talk about it properly.
It's true. I agree. And I do agree with Laura Woods. I'm just going to put this up again so we just get an understanding of what Laura Woods is saying here. People aren't going to ignore that, especially Gary Neville, who's a Man United legend. People are looking to him for his opinion on it, and it's, of course, he's not going to look favourable on that, is he? So Roy Keane might be friends with Ronaldo and might not want to get snubbed by a handshake, and he seems to be on the fence a little bit. We want to have honest, open opinions. This is why people are more drawn to sort of like the Man United agenda or Stretford Paddock, because we don't have that association with the players, do we? We can say what we really think without any sort of worry about, my mate's going to diss me now, or I played with this guy, that kind of thing. So overall, I think Laura Woods, she's entitled to her opinion. She has no ties with Ronaldo, so she can say what she wants, and she's backing Gary Neville and basically sort of saying Ronaldo's being a bit childish here. Guys, keep the comments coming in. Just a quick one here now. We all saw this today because everyone's sniffing around for new news. So in the change room, obviously they've gone to international break now, and there's a viral video of Cristiano Ronaldo and Bruno Fernandes seemingly having a rift between the two players. It's been dismissed as a bit of a joke by the Portuguese teammate João Mario, and he's playing well now. João Mario, I've seen him; he's been around. Amid the aftermath of the CR7 controversial interview with Piers Morgan, it was a joke between them because Bruno was one of the last to arrive, and Cristiano asked if he had come by boat. It was a joke between them. They played together. This is how it's been explained. Apparently, what United fans had taken as a rift forming between the two of the key players, at least for now, was nothing more than a bit of banter between teammates in the video. Fernandes put an arm on Ronaldo as he walked past him to put his bag down in the locker before turning to face the rest of the dressing room. Ronaldo offered his hand out at first, which Fernandes, after a brief second of seemingly wondering whether he should accept it, meets with his own before he saying something to him and turning away. Have you guys all seen this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been told by the players now. They've been told it's a bit of a joke. They must have known there's a camera there as well. I'll start with you, Kinde. What are your thoughts on that quickly? Do you think that you go along with that being a bit of a joke?
I'm not sure. I mean, from what I saw, the body language, it just looked a bit frosty between them. If you're looking at it, you know, after everything that's just come out, but it might just be nothing. It might just be like he said, just a bit of banter. I don't know.
Kalula?
For me, it's kind of like one of those days when you go to your work and you shake your manager's hand and you don't really want to, but you're on the same team and you know you've got 2 weeks to them. Like, that's how it looked. It looked like, okay, I'm on the team. We'll go both on the team together. There's no point in having an issue because we're here. That's how it looked. It didn't look super friendly. I personally I feel sorry for Bruno because the interview hasn't come out yet. We don't know all the info, but obviously Man United's been a house on fire and everybody knows about it. So for him, it's like walking in and going, it's you. Like, literally, that's great. Don't know what to say to you, so I'm just going to shake your hand and go and get ready. I think he's done the best thing and just been neutral.
Yeah, but I just want to make it because I don't know whether to read too much into it because it's like, why is it just Bruno and Ronaldo being filmed in the changing room? Like, how often does that happen? So it's just like sometimes was that scripted, that whole thing?
It's staged.
Yeah, or maybe maybe the Portuguese team thought, you know what, we want to be talked about because everyone's talking about Man United, so let's do this little video and capitalise.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I just want to say I'm getting it wrong. ATT-TV. Probably one of our own is Andy Tate. I apologise. Andy Tate saying here, Piers Morgan is, excuse me. Do you want to read that out?
Oh, Piers Morgan is a two-faced, only wanted this because of his TV career is going down the pan, which, to be fair, I do agree because Piers Morgan that's one of the problems I've got with this interview is that it's Piers Morgan. I would have preferred he went for someone more credible. You know, it's going to sound so horrible, but he's just so controversial. I would have preferred someone else to take it more seriously.
Yeah.
Piers is the perfect guy because he's all there for the controversial issues.
Yeah.
Interviews. He does the best interviews. He's been in the spotlight for negative reasons with Meghan Markle comments and storming out like a kid and things like that.
Like a kid.
Back in the spotlight.
It's just the parallels there. The parallels there. He stormed out the studio, and so did Ronaldo. So they're similar, aren't they? Do you want to say big up to Petty Talks? Go and check him out on TikTok. And when are you coming back on the Man United agenda, Petty? We miss you, bro. A couple more here about Piers Morgan. Ronaldo says he doesn't pay much attention to the pundits. He clearly got his ego cut open by the likes of Neville, Rooney and Carragher. Stuart Marshall saying Piers Morgan is a complete lemon. Glenn is saying Piers Morgan done the interview because he wants him at Arsenal. I've heard a few rumours about that. Pat Lawless is saying, I don't believe the whole Piers Morgan propaganda circus is right way to go about it. However, part of me hopes Cristiano blows the lids on the Glazers, Judge and Woodward. I don't like this talk about getting the Glazers out. I just think it's unprofessional, full stop. Regardless if he does or not. We'll find out anyway. Emma's saying Ronaldo is mad because he isn't playing every game, and when he's playing, he's dog doo-doo. And now everybody else has to takes cuss. He's a CUNT. Keep the same energy I'm not going to read swear words. And Big G is saying my money is on OMONDI. Sorry, Uncle Phil. Yes, I do whoop his ass. I have been doing it since he was 4 years old. That's for sure. All right. Guys, keep the comments coming in. We keep going with that. King's Football saying, if Ronaldo loves the club so much, he would never consider signing for City, and Alex Ferguson told him so, that sort of thing. So, yeah, guys, what do you think about all this stuff? We're trying to go through it. We went through it with last couple of days, but it's great to get insight from Kalula and Kinde as well. So we've heard from Laura Woods. We've heard from the legal representatives as well about what's being said. We're getting more insight into that. And we also heard about the Bruno stage sort of performance what went on in the change room. Are you tuning in tomorrow, and what are you expecting to is there anything you're thinking like someone's going to get buried? Anyone you hope gets buried? Anything you want to come out from this, Lula?
For me, it's I'm actually quite gutted, because what I would have liked is if he could have done more of a professional interview and talked about the issues at the club and not done his childish behaviour. We could have got more insight on what is going wrong, because we do know there are issues at the club still. I think he might actually have some valid points, but they're going to get washed away by his childish behaviour, if that makes sense. So I hope that the interview is more professional. Of course, they've just given us snippets. They might have just given us the worst part of it, and then we're going to see that it... Oh, I want to have faith, basically, but I don't think it's going to go very well at all. I would like people to see that probably the management isn't good. We've been asking for the Glazers to go out, and I'm still with that. I just wish that if he really loved us, when he says I love Man United and I love the fans, that he would have done it the correct way. If he wants to go, he can go. Maybe he felt pressured even coming back to us, but I would like some good information for us, just not us to be the circus during the World Cup where everyone's just talking about Man United.
Sure. Saragon saying here the body language between Ronaldo and Bruno looked cold. I want to say hi to Arctic Man as well. Just seeing you tuning in as well. So big up, man. Ain't seen you for a while. Said Bruno came out on Twitter and he said there's nothing going on. So he's reinforcing what Joe was saying as well. I want to say hi to Joe Evans as well. Joe Evans, we've been chatting on TikTok today. Yes, I am on TikTok. And big up, Joe Evans. Really glad that you joined us today. As you said you would, man of your word as well. And Zico, just coming to you. Before I do, I'm going to drop a little comment for you, because just to give you an understanding about the club, we're talking about the club now and what we know that he said about the club. Since he came back, nothing's changed. Same people there, same facilities. It's really poor, he's trying to say. Here's something from Zlatan, who's a great player, played for us for a season or so. He says, everyone thinks of United as a top club. This is Zlatan in his new autobiography. I'm not plugging it, by the way. One of the richest and most powerful in the world, and seen from the outside, it looks that way to me. This is what he's saying about Man United. So from the outside, it looks like the most richest, most powerful club in the world. But he says, but once I was there, I found a small, closed mentality. So that's from Zlatan. Nothing to do with Ronaldo. What's your thoughts on that? Does that sort of, tarnish how Man United run at the moment? Are we really that bad internally?
I think since Ferguson left, maybe there's been a lot of issues in terms of authority not being really there and the club not being run properly. Ronaldo, I've seen a clip from the interview, him saying about, maybe the board didn't believe him about, did his wife lose a baby or something? Or he needed to take
his daughter was ill.
Yeah, for some family issue. And he always talked about that time when his father was dying, when he was first at the club, the first time around. And he told Ferguson, and Ferguson said, look, son, take as much time as you need. And things like that. So it's Ferguson knew everyone around the club, knew everyone's name, tea lady, to someone's wife, children or grandparents. And I think that figure is missing, because he was a bit of a mediator as well. And maybe we don't have anyone in that club right now with that kind of aura. And maybe that's what's missing. He wasn't just a manager of a football club. It was everything. So.
No, I agree. I think it was pure love, and that's, of course, we're going to miss it. My age, I grew up with it's glory days. Used to, we're going to win. We know we're going to win. It's a really, really weird feeling to say. But now, part of me feels like there needs to be change. I went to Old Trafford just after the lockdown, and I can see that you can't just keep painting the outside.
Yeah.
You can't just keep making the outside look great and not deal with the facilities. I've been going there my whole life, and when he said that, I thought, you know what, that's a valid point. And I think that the heartbreaking thing for me is that I want those valid points. We look at the money that our team makes. It should be better, and that's heartbreaking for me. But do it the right way, and I really don't think Ronaldo's done it the right way. I think it's actually going to cause us more hindrance. But then also Ronaldo needs to think to himself, I wouldn't sign him after this. What team's going to want the drama llama? because look what he's caused for us.
Well,
It's
how do
another-
we know that he has got something agreed with a club? Why would he just put himself out there, want someone to cancel his contract if he hasn't got a club lined up?
He might. It's perfect, isn't it? World Cup's come in. There's no Premier League games he has to be involved with. It comes out. It literally, the notification comes out from the Sun. I think it was the Sun newspaper on the Sunday out, basically when we're traveling back from Fulham. It is, don't get me wrong, it's sometimes people say bad news or good news is still news. Everyone's still talking about him. And this might have just been the perfect plan. Well, this is why I want to go. I'm going to do it this way. We could fine him or sue him. We could sack him. He's probably not even going to care financially. For him, this could just be the perfect scenario. He's done what he wanted.
If we do that, it's easier for a club to get him because they don't really want to pay a fee for 37-year-old. Just get a guy on a contract and on a free. And
So I just feel like I feel like there's a lot of people if CR7 is their hero, I think this interview is going to greatly disappoint them.
I don't. I don't. To be honest, I don't think it's going to ruin his legacy. I think football fans, they're very fickle. There's been big players that have done a lot of controversial things in the past, and it just gets forgotten of. Once they deliver on the pitch, it gets forgotten of.
I'm just going to go through some comments before we wind up, guys. So Harry David said, I feel bad for people who are going to have to watch the full interview. 90 minutes of Piers Morgan produced propaganda for Ronaldo. I like that comment. Dave Allen, how you doing? He said, hi. Didn't he also threaten Rooney? Big G saying, you said Andy Tate dogs go mental. You got them trained. Yes, if I mentioned Andy Tate, they do go crazy. Sorry about that. HG Game is saying, why is Speed, that YouTuber, Ronaldo fanboy, barking at you, Ronaldo, at Omundi? Sorry, I've got Ronaldo on the brain. Big up, Katie. We will see you soon, hopefully. Joe is saying Ronaldo has to be ignorant and determined his whole career. I think half the problem is he can't see his own decline. Pierce is a donut. Ten Hag, right man for the jobs. Big up. Omondi, are you Joe Glazer in disguise? Says HG Gamer. God. Harry David saying Ronaldo's not going to say anything about the Glazers. That hasn't already been said 100 times already. Stuart Marshall is saying, got some Ronaldo face masks. He was doing a French face mask the other day. I don't know if you saw that, guys. And Stuart Marshall was saying, the club is rotten, no stadium, restoration for the 20 years. Ronaldo was correct there. Emma, finally, just last one. Sorry, guys. Emma's saying, I hope Ronaldo has a terrible World Cup and that Bruno and Delo outscore him so they can come back with a bunch of confidence and a great rest of the season. We're going to leave it there, guys. 23 in the comments. Press the like button for us, guys, and give Kahinde and Kalula tough names, isn't it? Omonde, Kahinde, and Kalula. Sorry, it's tough names out there. But let's give them a round of applause. And Big Phil and Kalula, we respect you guys. We want to see you back on more than this, because you're hiding from me. Every time I call you, you guys are hiding from me. So I loved the content today. You brought it big time. And everyone in the comments as well. Big up, guys. We love you. We love you. Zlatan calling us small-minded club makes sense. We've stood still for the last 10 years. So everyone seems to be agreeing with that kind of thing. Last words before we shut down. Anything less you want to say, Kalula, about it? What would you advise the fans to have an open mind when they watch this?
I think what I'd say to fans is that he's 37 years old. He's done a great service for us, but it's his time to go. But we do need change at the same time. For me, as you can see, I am a fan. But as soon as he mentioned the disrespect for Tag, even as a fan, I went, you know what? Yeah, you just go do you. That was it for me. Like, I like some of the constructive criticism that he's given, but you can't. The whole disrespect for Tag, I just thought, you know what? Thank you for last season. Go do you. That's for me. And hopefully we could get a bit of Bob, but you might get sacked.
And last word to you, Kahinde. I'm just going to do it on a wrestling. We love wrestling, don't we? I know you love wrestling a bit too, don't you? But is this a major heel turn from the good guy, the babyface Ronaldo? Has he turned the biggest heel turn you've seen at the club?
Quite possibly, yeah. But I just would say to fans, just watch the interview with open mind and just have perspective on things and situations. He's 37, not 27. If he was 27, I might actually care about this. I'd be like, I don't want to see him go or whatever. But you know, I don't really care too much, to be honest, and I think we should move on. We got a new manager, and I think the head club is heading in the right direction. We're going to get the right people on board and bring the harmony back in the club. Good
stuff. Wise words from my young brother. You're wiser than me. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. You big us up by pressing the like button. Share the show. Tell your friends about the ManUtd agenda. We will be back tomorrow after the interview. Myself, Mr. B, and anyone else who wants to jump on, Kalula or Kahinde, once we watch the interview, probably about 11 o'clock. I don't know what time it's going out, but as soon as it finishes, we'll be going straight live on the show. So if you want to jump in with us, you're more than welcome, and we can go in on what we've just heard. So these 2 1-hour specials. Anyway, big up, guys. Had a great rest of the evening. We're signing out now from Kalula, from Kahinde, and myself, Omundi Juma. We're out. Bye-bye.